Hello, this is Rachel again with short and sweet reviews, and today we are talking The Chosen Season 2, Episode 3, and I'm just gonna get right into it. Probably one of the main things that this episode is known for is the one shot. I think it's about 14 minutes, which just for any form of medium, that's not very common at all, especially with like Christian media. That might be unheard of to do any significant length of one shot, let alone 15 minutes. And I think that just really shows dedication of the cast, just to put in the work to make sure that they have their lines, their blocking, and just that they're in the right headspace just to do it all in one shot, in one take, to have it all together. And then definite high props to the crew, and I think definitely specifically the camera guy who was just holding it on his shoulder for the whole time, and just that lot of props and dedication for that, to go through that. And I definitely think that just shows their dedication almost to their sort of mantra of get used to different. It's like, we're gonna do different, we're gonna put in the work to make this quality and special. Don't mind the dog in the background. And then the next thing I have is just a real honest conversation. I believe part of this is during the one take, just about healing and chronic illness, and just how that can feel, pretty like, hey, what's happening here? I see like all these healings around. Or it's like, it's like, I know you're capable of healing, so what's happening here? And as someone who, has a chronic illness themselves, that's definitely very relatable. Just that whole struggle of like mixing of acceptance, but also it's like, hey, I wouldn't mind if you did something, God. Or it's like, what's up with that type of thing. And I know they're gonna dig, I believe, more deep into that in season 3, which should be really interesting and exciting. Well, we'll see how that goes. And then also just the campfire discussion gets very heated and brings up just a lot of good points in general, and also specifically related to the whole storylines and dynamics that are going on currently in the show. And I think definitely as Christians in general, we can relate to the whole, it's like sometimes it just feels like a bunch of rules. It's like, is it worth it? Like, what? Like, kind of what's the point of some of that? And I think there's definitely, like, some very real and raw discussions about that definitely get pretty heated. But something in general that I really like The Chosen, when they bring up these things, it's like, it makes you feel like you're not alone, or it's like, oh, I'm not a bad Christian or person for having these like thoughts or experiences about it. It's like, no, if the disciples might have struggled with this and they were like right there with Jesus, I think it's understandable that we struggle with those different arguments and debates as well. And along those lines, I kind of just have Jesus shuts it down, which I love. I love that part so much, it's so funny how just they're all in these just heated debate over the grand scheme of things all not that super important. And then you just see Jesus like covered in blood and just like exhausted from just helping people all day, and he's just like, good night, and everyone's just like, oh, what were we just doing? Why were we even talking about these things? That's what matters, what Jesus was doing, and Jesus is what matters. I just thought that was very poignant and humorous, and just makes a point in a very humorous and chosen way. And I think that is all I have for a little chat about this episode, and see you next time.